Last we left our heroes. Your misadventures in Sanctuary were behind you, and your true safety in Sanctuary lay before you thanks to your patron, the Immortal Man. Under his protection, the Fey refugees and prisoners of Terminus are safe and will be given passage south to Marabella by week's end. You explained all that you'd witnessed in your Watcher mission into Sanctuary, how you found Kalzura within and learned that Ursa has fallen into the hands of the enemy. Within time, you were able to rest and recuperate over a number of days. You dove into the information you have unearthed within Dr. Algaros's journals and lab and found it all pointing to a partnership between an Archfey and this clandestine branch of the Arcanoclast, and perhaps even higher. When all was laid bare to Ludomir, and when Mogden returned to report his findings to Sentinel, both parties agreed it would be most beneficial to meet face-to-face and put all cards on the table. After a few days within the Queen's Gambit, this meeting of the minds occurred. Here you continued these various discussions and revealed more of this plot between nations, a war in the Fey, and a liminal tower in the northernmost tip of Baern, where this Archfey Lord and Dr. Algaros had been working on a reactor device of some kind, using the Fey refugees and magical practitioners of Vigil as batteries to fuel their grim aims. Now it would seem they have Ursa, and the threat of a cosmic power in their hands, the hands of such evil, has spurned the united front between the Watchers and the Infinite Alliance, with you all at the forefront. While you've all been tasked with meeting with Isaac, the right hand of Ludomir, en route to the Starless Citadel of Ramzad, Ludomir and Sentinel will go to Ser Eden, the religious capital of Candorne and the lone power beyond the grasp of the Arcanoclast and even the King. There, they will meet with the powers of the Order of the Iron Fang and the White Hand to align themselves on the threats of the approaching Dark Hunger, the obfuscation of the Divine, and the threats within exile that the servants of the Dark Hunger have found ways to release. Today, it is afternoon in the conservatory of the Queen's Gambit. As you break from your discussion, Ludomir calls for lunch and tea to be served and says, much has been discussed and much still remains. Let us break for the time. Eat, contemplate, and we will reconvene in 1 hour's time. I hope to have us on the move by tomorrow's morn. But let us ensure we are prepared as best we can.
Okay, thanks.
With that, he bows and descends the steps, and a trio of servants carrying platters arrive to lay out tea alongside a spread of butter and bread and cheese and fruits and tiered cake stand of various sweet confections. And the group kind of disperses into little pockets, and you guys are free to take over as we begin tonight.
Looks like you're not done with us yet, eh, Mogden?
He's like coyly stuffing some little treats off of a platter into his face, like trying to pick them up with his little claws. Like, no, not yet, no.
Nettie, are you nervous at all about maybe going to the Feywild?
I mean, I was earlier, but I'm kind of excited for it. Aren't you?
I was a little nervous, but maybe I should be excited. Maybe that's a good perspective to have.
I mean, the worst that could happen is like we get stuck there for a while, and then we come back, and then everyone we know is gone because so much time has passed. That's the worst case scenario, and like that's not really like what are the odds of that happening?
I don't know. I didn't even know that was a possibility. That sounds like terrible. That sounds absolutely awful.
Well, I read it somewhere in one of the books that that's what happens.
Oh my god.
But whether or not that happens to us specifically, very slim chance.
Yeah. To Crane, you've never, been on a completely different plane of existence or anything like that, and then had to travel to it or anything?
Traveling in my time. And all I can say is, don't be afraid. Because you don't know what's around the corner, so what's the point?
Ooh.
I think the point is to make sure that the thing around the corner might not kill you. Fear is useful.
You could see something right in front of you and it could kill you, so what's the difference? Just go head on and deal with it when it comes.
And not only that, we'll all be together. That's the best part.
Yeah.
Sure.
Us 5. The 5 friends. Horsemen. 5 teacups. 5
Cups.
Let's
Just
just put
looking
it out
around the
there.
room.
Stans, if you can come up with a name for us, we'd appreciate it.
As DeCrane breaks the fourth wall, Ludomir, you see kind of return back up the steps, and he calls Cal over to him, and the two of them descend. As you guys see that, Mogden, Sentinel, kind of flags you down to just cross to the other side of the room and join her and Star Speaker.
Yes, distinguished colleagues. It has been many days, but I am very pleased to once again be in your company.
Yes, of course. And I appreciate all that you've done to get this meeting in order and to establish everything we've had here. And in such a short span of time, so much information has passed. Star Speaker and I must return to the Star to begin preparations to travel to Sarah Eden, but also it seems that you will have much on your plate very shortly, and I hope that we can provide as much aid from the Watcher's side in this alliance to hasten your safe return and the return of this young girl. But I seek to ask, and she just turns her shoulder ever so slightly just to put her back to the rest of the group here. In the wake of what Ludomir has told us all, revealed, have you shifted your position at all, or do you feel steadfast in your standing, in your how you understand his position?
There are things that I cannot begin to comprehend, and this is one of those things that until you are faced with a decision of that magnitude, it is hard to anticipate how one might or might not act in such times. But to me, the path forward is clear, and that there is wrongdoings that need to be done right. And I cannot help but feel greatly touched by the story of this young girl. And while I do not know her history, I do know what it means to lose someone of that nature, and it would be wrong of me, knowing me as you do, to forego an opportunity to assist in this venture.
No, I would never ask that you sit out from this. The aims are just and great. I simply hope that you understand a little more of my trepidation, why our two factions have been so disparate for so long. To have as much power as a figure such as he wields, a single unkillable force with power of a cosmic entity, near the strength of the divine, if not more powerful, with resources and gold greater than nations. You understand why this is a threat that must be watched.
Watch we shall, that is what we are here to do, absolutely. But I understand now with every conversation that we've had since why this might carry certain weight for you. And I can only do what I can to appreciate the magnitude of your previous distrust. But I shall move forward with caution and care, and I cannot help but feel good about my companions. There is heart in this group, and while our time together has been short, there is there is goodness in them, and I believe that their aims are just, and by association to this man, I have to believe that for whatever reason, their aims and their desires are for the best. And this is something that I hope I am right on, but I will be there to aid them in their cause and also our own.
My instinct and insight aligns with yours very much. I believe that these four are just and loyal to one another. And in your care and likewise, this partnership will flourish. And I relent some of my past history and trepidations with the Immortal Man as a worm. They are a long historical fact. His present day is a far different person than those days. And ultimately, our aims must be the protection of the realm and the sanctity of this young girl, especially if she carries the power that he seems to believe she does.
I believe we have opportunity to write a new chapter in this story of yours, and it shall be one of great importance, I fear.
Our fears are the same. Now, as I say, Starspeaker and I must go and attend to some things prior to us departing for Sarah Eden, but when you and your fellows here form whatever plan it is you seek to form, if you can make your way to the star tonight after nightfall, avoid the sight of the Arcanoclast and any other eyes. I will give you all that we can to prepare you for your next leg of your adventure.
This is a great honor and much appreciated, and we will be there.
Wonderful.
He bows to you. He curtsies.
She kind of nods. Starspeaker, also with like an armful of baked confectionery, kind of he makes his way up behind Sentinel, and the two of them begin to descend and leave the room as well.
DeGrane, I've been thinking. You're so noisy in your armor. I think we should get you new armor.
So that at all.
You don't think you're noisy in it? What?
I'm not opposed to that at all.
Okay, good. Especially because Ludomir gave us that sweet, sweet cash.
Yeah.
Didn't we just get this armor?
We'll trade it.
That was a good idea.
I'm
I've never
looking
seen you barter with a shopkeeper before. I bet you'd be really good at it.
Well, I will barter. I will threaten if I.
No, wait. Not the threaten part. Not the threaten part.
Look, I have dealt with a lot of shopkeepers, and they are crooks. So, if we need to, we be tough. But
You don't think they're trying to earn an honest living through commerce?
Not the ones that deal in arms and weapons and shields. They are out to make a buck.
Immediately, the guy who you got your last armor from very specifically didn't sell us at when he could have. Actually, he was. I don't remember his name in real life. He very specifically told the Iconoclast that he didn't have any record of us. He was like a knight. Who was that guy? He's really cool.
I was a kitty cat and I saw him.
It's not often that you deal with a knight.
That's true.
Okay, well then why don't we just go back to that guy?
Yeah, that's probably a good point. He was really nice.
Well, we could, yes. I don't.
Pause. You're all fugitives. You can't go out and do this. What are you talking
We can't do that. We have to send someone to do an errand for us.
You're
Maybe
all current
Martin could do a
fugitives
shit.
from the
No, we were in Sanctuary and everyone saw how insane that was. Maybe we could send out someone to run an errand for us.
Can we trade them?
Too sweet.
I
Where
love-
you at?
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Tavern Dash.
I will say Ludomir's staff has basically been at your beck and call for the last several days in the time that you've been staying in the estate and you've only been here for a few short hours. I know, like, Andy, you had wanted to get the silk and thread from your deal for the gala affair. All these kinds of things can be like a part of the last couple of days, preparations and sending these people. They're Ludomir's direct staff. So in terms of being trusted, as much as you trust him, he seems to trust them. So take that for however you will. And of course, I don't mean to say like, no, don't go out to the shops. But if you're going to leave, no, go out, but do it with preparation and not just walking out and then threatening people. You're definitely going to get arrested, and the campaign's going to stop once more.
There's threats and there's threats.
I mean, if you can get Ludomir's people, he has influence in the city. I'm gonna be honest. They might get you a better deal than you could get yourself.
That works. That works.
Are you guys gonna send? Weren't you gonna send some kind of like letter or something to your mums with those people that are gonna be going?
Yeah, we should give her a heads up that we send some strangers to go live with them. I think that's a good idea.
Yes.
They might be a little confused.
But you must send something that will prove it's you.
Don't say my hand or something weird.
No, but something.
So you're gonna the hat? Then they have a hat.
She had the hat, so they'll know. But I should tell them, or else my moms might beat them up.
Do a little sketch. Like if we send a letter, do a little sketch.
They'll know because my sketches are very distinct.
Right? They're really good.
Well,
No, they're amazing. Are you kidding me?
what was I thinking? We could send a little coin back from the moms, let them know.
Yeah.
Maybe make a shopping list, and then is there any way we could find like maybe ask some of the staff to find the quickest route to the Feywild, one of these Feywild portals? How are we going to do that out of game? Did we figure that out?
No, that's what you're doing today.
Great. We should figure it out.
So to recap a little of what you had been presented at the end of the last game, or at least in the conversation of last game, between Ludomir and Sentinel, obviously the Watchers collectively have some potential angles for you guys to move forward. Ludomir was going to look into some as well in this time. It's kind of what he's doing right now. There were options of travel via plants with powerful druids. If there was a powerful druid in the area to work with, Ludomir has some contacts that would be able to maybe hasten your journey a little further. There was talk of potentially looking for a mage or someone who would have access to a teleportation circle to get a little closer as well. And then the option of crossing through into the Fae and bargaining for some of the control over the time dilation that happens as a result of going into the Fae, with potentially bargaining with an archfey of some kind. At the very least, crossing into the Fae and figuring it out from there is an option, simply because the time would be kind of however you think about time, like it moves faster or slower there, that you have a week for Isaac to get into position. You would have almost like 2 or 3 weeks in the Fae to do the same time journey. So Mogden, all the Fae and Archfey stuff, that's more the Watchers camp. They are stewards and watchers over the outer and inner planes and the crossings therein. So that is very much something that it seems would be your camp to get that information from.
Good thing I know all about that stuff.
Not you specifically, but your connection to Sentinel it will provide you that. That's what you would know is where you took the path of the Argent Ward, there are others who have taken a path of the Planeswalkers, and those who watch and guard the crossings and learn about the other planes, inner and outer. And so those crossings and that information would be kind of can be shown to you, passed to you, if that is a path you guys want to go down.
Is that something that could be brought up at our meeting in the evening?
Yes, it will.
Okay, great.
Yeah. But yeah, you guys have, obviously when you decide to, like, you can discuss with Ludomir and between yourselves what all of these options are, and what you would prefer to try and do, and kind of present those solutions, and then come up with any of your own if you have other ideas and things you want to work with.
Excellent. It seems that we have decision to make regarding our next steps, and while I myself am not particularly familiar with this Feywild that you speak of, my colleagues, they have experience, and if this is a path that we do wish to take, then we have organized to sit down this evening for a final meeting between our two factions, and this is an opportunity to discuss where and when we might cross over into this place, if this is truly what we wish to do. Or we take the longer road, but it will take time. I do know the way, but it will take time. So we must decide now what makes the most sense for your objectives.
Things seem kind of connected to the Fae. We've heard stuff with the Pale Court, and we already saw at Sanctuary some of those people were taken from the Fae. When we were in the Underworld, which is like this cool like cave system underneath like the Earth's surface, we encountered some people who were corrupted, and they talked about messages from the Fae. I don't know, it just seems like we're being drawn there, and I would kind of vote to go in that direction. Especially because you seem like you're an expert in the Feywild.
The vote is not a bad idea. Should we put it to a vote?
Wow,
Well,
democracy.
The options are Fae, find some kind of mage and hope for the best. Or no, I can't remember the third one. What was the third one?
A long
just
walk.
Just walk a long time.
To travel, Ludomir would obviously set you up with mounts to travel on, which hastens it ever so slightly. But you're looking at 2, 3, 4, 5. You're looking at probably like 3 weeks on the road.
We could try and steal one of those sky ships we saw when we first got here.
There weren't sky ships here.
Didn't you describe a guy landing in a cool thing when we first arrived?
It was like a two-person like ornithopter.
What if we stole 3 of those flying machines? So glad the crane wasn't paying attention to that. It would have been devastating.
At this point, you hear footsteps returning as Cal and Ludomir begin to kind of make their way back into the room with you. Ludomir, you see, is carrying kind of a roll of parchment and is like clicking and opening up like a fountain pen. And Cal, you see kind of idly kind of spinning a ring on his hand, seemingly a similar Nexus ring.
Cal's in. Sick.
They both kind of, as you guys are now, just the watchers have left, so and the staff has all kind of returned down below. It is just the 5 of you, and these 2 return. Ludomir takes a seat in one of the kind of plush chairs and lays the parchment before him, and is instantly just goes into work, but is listening and you can kind of oversee with a lot of your kind of passive perception. He seems to be like quickly writing out instructions to various staff. Like he doesn't even have a name to it. It's just like a very quick and dirty, like prepare 6 mounts for swift travel, get my carriage, this. And as you guys continue talking and stuff, he like folds it into like an origami kind of bird, breathes into it, and it flaps and flies out the window. And he goes on to the next one, and he starts going on to the next, kind of rolling through this like rapid, messaging all the various people he needs to prepare.
Oh, do you think that's a spell? Because I really want to learn how to do that.
I think it's his cosmic spooky powers.
Yeah, you're probably right. Although
It is unfortunately my cosmic spooky power.
Okay. I mean, admittedly, I've been really spending time with these rings. You know how we can like talk to each other once a day. I think I can try to do something similar, but to anyone.
That's
Not
so
often.
cool.
Not often. I have to know them, but I might be able to like. What if I try to like reach out to Ursa? I don't know if they'll have something blocking it, or if she's conscious. There's a lot of things, and I've never done it before, but we could try.
Could be worth a shot. We just don't want her to alert the baddies that we're coming, but
I know. I don't want to scare her off either. I don't want to spook her.
and tapping into her mind, you did that once before and you saw like the apocalypse. It was really scary.
Yeah, that was bad. This is different. I'm not just like staring at her. It was very much a visual thing. And I'd seen that vision before. It just kind of triggered it. This would just be, it's literally like just talking, like I was in her ear. I just don't know what I'd say, and I don't know what we'd gain from it. An option.
If I can, just tell her to hang on. We're coming for her. That's all she needs to know.
Yeah, do that.
If you can get any information about where she is, she may not know. But let her know that we're coming. Give her some
Okay.
hope,
Sure, I can try. Sure.
if you can.
Yeah, I can. I didn't actually prepare spells. I was like, oh no, I did. Haha. No, I
It's
didn't.
been-
Lied to you.
It's been several days.
It's been several days. It's fine. I'll just check off a third. I will try to cast sending.
Okay. Go ahead and make an intelligence saving throw for me.
Ah, fuck. Okay. No, that's not very good. I rolled my portents today and I rolled a very good one. Fuck it, we're using it.
Hell yeah.
So that is 26.
Okay.
Oh.
What do you say?
I say, how many words is it? 25?
25.
Okay. I say, Ursa, it's Andy. We're with Cal. He's okay. We heard what happened. Sounds like you gave them a hell of a fight. But we're coming to you. Stay tight. Hold tight.
As you speak in the conservatory here, and you finish the casting of sending is just a verbalization of whatever it is you're saying there, but it is innately laced with magic, as is the incantation. It goes out into the universe. It leaves with the final word. You can feel with the successful saving throw, a successful delivery, but it has to push and break, and there is something that holds it back were it not for the bond between yourself and Ursa, and perhaps some of her cosmic power kind of pulling it towards her, and a little bit of your connection to the divine and to divination and being able to kind of hasten it forward. It does manage to pierce through this boundary, whatever it may be. And it's a long moment. You know it was delivered, but you're waiting a response, and there's a long nothing, almost like someone has answered the phone and you just hear the dial tone, you just hear the kind of emptiness of a phone line before you just hear a kind of scream, just echoing in pain.
What did she say?
She didn't. she's there, but it's bad.
I'll take bad over dead.
That's
It
true.
I don't know if we should do that very much.
Sounds like there's not much time to waste then.
Mr. Nostrov offered me an offer here to join the crew, join the Alliance, as it were. I figure I got more reason than anyone to go into this fight, so whatever it is y'all have planned, I'm coming along. But
He kind of gestures to the somewhat bandaged wounds from his time in Sanctuary.
he's done a lot of healing. I don't feel, the pain of anything anymore. He's been helping tend, but he set an appointment with a surgeon from the Remedial Society to come and kind of try and take out whatever it was the doctor put in. That's going to take tonight anyway. So whatever we're going to do, wherever we're going, that's got to be tomorrow. If it's all right. I'd go right now if we could, but
We can wait. We want you with us, Cal.
That should not be a problem, Cal, because tonight we do need to meet with my associates for a meeting in the Sephar Star to discuss a few things. So tomorrow would be probably earliest for departure anyway.
well, let's do it. So, I guess what's the fastest route we got?
In theory, the Fae, but the problem is it's only the fastest route if we got someone to help us. And right now we don't really have anyone. Unless Arch Fae or anything like that. I sure don't.
I do think that there may be member of Watcher who might be able to assist in this. I personally cannot speak to these necessary skills to traverse this bridge to another plane, but I have heard tell that perhaps someone within my organization could assist us in this venture if it is in fact the path that we wish to walk.
Kyle, do we remember, if there were any, when I was taking stock of the library and the Nexus, was there anything, any books on Fae Crossing, anything like that, or it was very much about history? And
primarily would have been about history, would have been about religion, would have been a lot of historical accounts of various crusades and wars. I'm
just thinking not even to read tonight, but potentially just bring with us.
No, yeah, I'm just trying to run through how much interaction with the Fae. The Infinite Alliance and the interaction with the Fae has been minimal at best, in all honesty. So they wouldn't have anything. They wouldn't have what access that Mogden and the Watchers would have. Mogden and Watchers would be your best. They would be who Ludomir would go to for this kind of a thing.
Okay.
Skip the middleman.
Yeah, just dive straight in. But Ludomir, who is kind of still going through some of these letters, you see one of these paper birds flutter back through a window and kind of hover in front of him, and he quickly kind of grabs, unfolds it, and he tucks it into a breast pocket, and he seems to pause for a minute and set himself down.
My apologies. Trying to move as quickly as I can. I want to answer some of the questions that you have, and to provide some of the more concrete solutions that I have had time to mull over and confirmed. I do not know of any particular druids within close enough proximity to the city, beyond one. She is one of the Midnighters. They are a thieves guild within the city. She comes from the Witherbloom, which Andy and Mogden, you guys definitely recognize the name Witherbloom as a forest that is right on the kind of border of just north of the border of Baern and north of Candorne. It's a large forest, and it is steeped in
folklore and mystery and spookiness. To which he says,
she would certainly be someone that we could call upon to, if not gain direct passage in some capacity. I'm sure that she has some form of solution to get that way, but it does come at some kind of a cost, and it is not always just gold. Secondarily, I have made this offer to you before, but I could put you in contact with the broker, a figure, friends of sorts. I have had many dealings with, as many of the Alliance members have in the past, in dealing with artifact and item that is now outlawed. Fast travel across Great Plains is the means of magic oftentimes, and it is very likely that he could have something to hasten our journey as well. Could be something I could put forward for you for this evening, if it is an option that you wish to entertain. And finally, I've scoured through my history of mages who are in the area who may have connection to the north in some capacity, and I've only found one who may still hold a teleportation circle. It would lead more towards the Frostfell, if I remember correctly, than to Baern, but it would put you in the right direction and hasten a good 2/3 of your journey.
Question, Kyle. So the Midnighters contact, they would be able to get us close in proximity to Witherbloom, like that's where we would appear.
Yeah. So with your context there, so the Witherbloom would be on the north border, the south border of Baern, the north of Candorne, would take about 2/3 of this journey out, and you would just have to go from there north to Ramsad, which is about a week travel, maybe a bit more, depending on what kind of difficult terrain and what encounters happen along the way. But it would at least cut it down to like an ideal timeline. And similarly, kind of depending on where in the Frostfell, if Ludomir is kind of saying it's Frostfell, that could be kind of the same situation unless it's far west. But that doesn't seem like something that he would set you up with. So those are two sort of terrestrial options to try and stay on this side of the planar borders. However, obviously you still have the options within the Feywild, but that is just something that Ludomir specifically can't help with. That'd be more Sentinel and the Watcher side. So things that you can kind of at least have a little bit more information to kind of make your decision.
So Witherbloom, Frostfell, or Feywild. Do any of these options speak to you?
Feywild is the most risky, but it could also give us the best head start if we get lucky.
I do know territory near Witherbloom. It is a place shrouded in mystery and strange happenings, but it is an area that is close to my homeland, and I could assist us in navigating this area if we choose to stay on this side of the plain. But once we enter the Fey, this is beyond my understanding or comprehension, so I will be looking to you for guidance in this place. I will hit things, I will slice things, I will smash things, but it will be up to you to tell me what is friend, what is foe, and which way we are to go.
You've got a druid, you got a wizard, you got a broker, and then you've got the Fey, obviously. You currently don't have information on the Fey crossings or Archfey. That would be an option to you, but you know that you can get that information tonight. So you can make any preparations for any of these 3-4 paths. In other things that you want to prepare for. You don't have to leave, first light in the morning, right? You can still make decisions, but you've got a little bit of a ticking clock and wanting to make a move as quickly as possible, as soon as possible, but you still want to rush into something.
Well, should we talk about this for a sec? Like, I guess, kind of out of game. Like, is there a desire to go through the Feywild for narrative, or do we want to take the Earthly Realm? Like, the Winter Bloom option is interesting. I don't hate that because it sounds like we actually cut quite a bit of time off the trip, but I don't know what the complications would be with, like you were saying, with the Feywild. We don't really know where we'll emerge. Like we can't control that, so we could end up even further away potentially. Or
you will know more concretely when you figure out what the Fey crossings are specifically. The Watchers will have some understanding of the certain rules of the ones that they are aware of. So I'll be able to give you some more specific information around that once you speak to the Watchers.
Okay.
But to kind of highlight an element of your point, keeping to the terrestrial options, the three options that are presented between the druid, the broker, and the mage that Ludomir knows, all of those will involve getting you as close as possible to Ramzad through various forms of teleportation, and then you will be on foot to your journey. So you'll be jumping, 2/3, a half or 2/3 of the way out, and then continuing the journey forward, which is expedient in that way, where the Fey route is a full journey on foot, dealing with all manner of the threat of the Fey. So it's more risky in the various elements that can happen in the Feywild because there's so much you don't know. But it is more innately tied to things that you guys have seen and been building within the party, that you will get more information and you will get more ingrained in that side of the world by going there first and foremost than after the fact. So if you're looking for more of like exploration in terms of like a little bit of obviously the backstory of the two who come from the Fae, as well as the Pale Court, all that's happening in this war, how it's all interconnected, you will get more out of that by journeying into the Fae. And the advantage of Fae is if you can bargain with an Archfey to control the time dilation, you could be basically equidistant in how long it would take you to jump and then travel for 3 weeks in the Fae. Could be a week on this side, depending on how this kind of bargaining goes. Lots of things can go amiss on every one of these. All of this is very much like based on the dice, based on 1,000 things, based on the whims of your DM in the moment. If I decide I'm bored and I throw a monster in your face, it could happen anywhere.
Well, I feel like I'm a guest in your house, so I will kind of throw it to you guys.
We're all a guest in the DM's house.
Technically, Leah owns it.
Faye's interesting. Faye's interesting. Broker's interesting because maybe they'd make us do a heist or something. Like, wait, broker? No, sorry, Midnighters. Midnighters like a thieves guild, so they might want something in return, which could be interesting. Like, what would thieves want? And then the mage, I don't know. Like, I think Midnighters and the Fae are kind of like the leaders for me right now.
I would agree with that.
Like, the mage would only really, like, think outside, stories outside of, if we're talking larger plot, larger threads within the party. The Fae, I think, has the strongest. I think we all know that in terms of where we've come from. The mage, in theory, would help me out because I've never met another wizard before. But that's one person. That's not, like, anything any of us have been involved in before, right? And it's also not a guarantee. He's like, I might know a dude. Like, there's nothing... The fucking tower that he might have the teleportation circle to could be destroyed. Like, we don't know. The Midnighters is probably the most unknown. Because it's just like, yep. Could, like, who knows? Who knows
Kyle,
what could happen? Who knows what they're going to ask us for?
Did
That's
Alan
the
meet
least story
the
tie, I
Midnighters?
think.
Say again?
Did Allie and I meet the Midnighters when we bargained with people?
You met a couple of guys from the Midnighters, but it's a big organization. Highly unlikely you'll meet them specifically in this endeavor. For not even a little bit of context, but like between Ludomir providing a little bit of this and a little bit of what you have picked up in your various kind of adventures here, the Midnighters would definitely be asking for something in kind, and it wouldn't be gold, it would be service, it would be a favor, and it could not be something that you enjoy doing. It could be something where they tell you to look the other way while something is happening, and that will put you in a spot of debating your moral standing and how that, but and then going back on it has pretty deadly implication. The broker is more of a straight transactional situation. And then, the mage is, there's a lot of unknown to the mage situation. So I could see that one definitely being the kind of lowest on the rung here, though interesting in its connection for Andy. So what you could look to do from this point is, you could make some checks in terms of trying to gather information about the pieces that you know about these things. You could ask Ludomir for more information. There's still some things that were kind of discussed in the last episode, in the last game, kind of in the grand scheme of the Prismatic Society and the history of things and exile, and there's still elements of, I think, the notebooks and all the elements that you guys have been investigating and reading into from Sanctuary that could provide some element of context. But I think for the most part, you got the pieces to move on right now. It really just comes down to which path you want to move on to. And if you're still kind of stuck and you want answers on the Fae, we can just move ahead to kind of what are your asks of items and elements of purchasing and preparing. And we can jump to Mogden meeting with, and you guys meeting with the Sapphire Star to get the Fae information.
Yeah, I don't think we can make a decision without knowing what those roughly where those Fae crossings are. Because if the answer is it's not any better, distance wise, then that kind of answers it for us.
Honestly, there is still going to be some element of travel involved with the Fae getting. Yeah. But the point is, time is so whimsical and unknown in the Fae that you could spend 3 weeks, a month, 3 years there, and as long as you make the right deal, it's not going to matter. I
think it's more where we come out.
Again, my point is the tower is a liminal space, so the tower crosses planar boundary. That's what the liminal part of the tower, the Starless Citadel, means. It is present in both worlds.
Cool.
Gotcha.
So we find it in the Fae, then we emerge. You
could find a direct connection to the tower on either side.
And this Pale King guy sounds very Fae focused.
So, even in the letters that Star Speaker translated, in the Gloam Key letters, it was written in a Sylvan Gloam Key, so very obviously connected to the Fae, and term of Archlord, which has connections to both Fae and Fiend, but in this context fits very much Fae.
Yeah, I say we go to this meeting. Let's learn about the Fae stuff.
Okay. Ludomir is going to set things up with Cal to meet with this surgeon. So he's going to hang back from that meeting. Is there anything you want to kind of ask of over the last couple of days, or the rest of the remainder of this day, for Ludomir and his kind of retinue to assist with setting you guys up with equipment, items, things to be ready for a journey?
I mean, if they could find a potion, it would be pretty sick, potion of healing. But I think, Kev, I don't know about you, but that armor is pretty sick that you have, but you would be stealthier if you had something.
Like studded armor.
Yeah, is that what would be this best choice, Kyle?
Studded would give you 12 plus your dexterity for AC. Breastplate would give you 14 plus 2 for AC for 16.
With no disadvantage on stealth?
No disadvantage with the breastplate. Breastplate's, I think, the only medium that's going to help you. Scale is 14, but it gives the disadvantage on stealth.
Did you say studded was 12 and 4?
Studded would be 12 plus your full dexterity modifier, which currently is.
So it has potential. So it has potential to increase if you increase your dex, right?
But it would
a lot of the other ones
it's going to max out at 17.
Yes.
With studded leather.
But then you have a shield.
If you have the shield, obviously that gives you the +2.
And then the breastplate was 14.
With a maximum 2 dexterity bonus.
Okay.
Now there's feats that you can take that can turn that into a maximum 3, but that also just gets you to 17. So it's kind of 6 of 1. So the trade-off is the dex-based armor is lighter, is not as sturdy. Your AC is lower by taking most medium and light armors, but the trade is the limitation of the disadvantage on your stealth.
So I guess the breastplate's the better option.
Kind of, I think it's 6 of 1 whether you were to go breastplate or whether you were to go studded leather. From my perspective, I could be wrong from looking at all the options, but those are the two that I'm pretty confident are the go-tos without getting into magical states, obviously. And that's where a conversation with the broker could be your option for trying to bargain and trying to get some magical stuff, but that comes at a cost. That's more of a literal gold cost in this case. The broker is like a straight fence.
Okay. I'll think about it.
Okay.
I'll see what the broker says.
Did you want to set up a meeting with the broker?
Sure.
We might not see that guy, but if you want, this is the guy who would have magic. Kev, you hate magic.
Don't want magic armor. I'm gonna talk to them if they offer it.
I think they just flat out said what he has is magical shit. That's what he has. If you want non-magical shit, then you talk to somebody and they'll go to the regular blacksmith guy and go get it.
Yeah.
If you want magical
that
shit,
guy in the face.
the guy's whole thing was this is the guy who has illegal magical shit. That's
But
what he
illegal
is.
non-magic shit. Never know.
But you can get legal, the best armor you can get is legal, and you don't need to go to this dude to get it. You can just go to anybody.
Yeah. So what are we doing?
All right. I'm not going to the magic guy.
Okay. So, do you want the studded or do you want a breastplate?
I'll go with breastplate.
This
Okay.
Breastplate would look sick on my boy at the crane.
A breastplate is going to run you 400 gold pieces.
But can we trade my old armor?
If you, yeah, absolutely. Just go ahead and make me a straight persuasion check.
Okay.
Come
I
on,
think
Kev.
in fact, I should be owed money. That's how much this armor is worth.
It's used, so loses some of its.
for 3 days. He just got it.
Yeah, he's been blown up and fucking fell into
That's
a decaying
It's
pit
not
of
a used
acid.
star.
Appreciation when you take it off the lot,
Yeah.
What do you add to 14? Is your persuasion okay?
My persuasion is 1.
This is with the kind of boon of using Ludomir's kind of name and his people to go to these. If you're going to Splint and Steel, which would be the kind of most reputable source, so happily for a straight trade, no cost.
Sick.
That sounds fair. I'll do it.
Does anyone else need anything? Anyone else need anything? I think everyone else's situation's okay.
Yeah, in terms of armor, we can always use rations and all that boring shit.
How about weapons? How's everyone for weapons?
I got my cool sticks. You just got a new gun. Mogden has more axes than I have.
A lot of axes.
Hands.
Yeah.
Did you say you have sticks?
Yeah, my cool sticks.
You might need more than a stick.
I can do cool things with this thing, and I have magic. Like I don't
like
need.
a rapier at least.
I don't need a boring old sword. Gross.
All right.
Do you need, what are your winter, do you have like clothing for cold weather? I'm assuming Baron will be chilly.
Yeah, you guys are like Ramzad is the like coldest uppermost tip of Baern, so it's going to be Arctic.
Oh, okay. Well, we had cool weather clothing, but not necessarily like freezing weather clothing. So we should probably get something.
Yeah, Kyle, can we drop some cash to get some winter
Yeah.
gear?
If you guys put down like 5 gold apiece, you will be quite comfortably wrapped up and warm.
We'll take it from party funds. We got it. No one lose gold.
The treasurer has spoken.
Kev, when you return, the servant returns with a +1 breastplate for you. As the trade goes over, and the Knight of Splint and Steel was not just going to take advantage of you and give you a normal ass breastplate.
Sorry, what was the breastplate? I'll manage my inventory right now and do that.
It should just be a breastplate +1.
Okay.
Leah, did we agree on an amount of silk and
Silk and metallic, like gold and silver thread?
yeah?
No, it was like me saying, well, then, what would and she like hand waved it. She's like,
Yeah, she's like, I'll give you
how
that.
things go. Like, and
Okay.
then she was drunk and didn't actually, she was like, oh my God, it's great. Yeah, we'll get you your shit. And then that was it. And then we almost got killed.
Roll me a d10.
8.
You get 800 gold worth of
Holy shit.
silver thread and silk for your spellcraft.
Awesome.
What a
I have
haul.
nothing. I have 1 scroll of a level I can't actually cast so far. But hey, if I get anything else, I'll be ready.
Yeah, Mr. Savine was willing to hand you the keys to the kingdom, so 800 gold for her ain't nothing to worry about. So
I have 900 total now because I have 100 randomly.
for the rest of you, any other kind of equipment or gear beyond extreme cold kind of protection and a little bit of armor change up for Crane?
I feel like there's got to be something we're not thinking of.
And it just says breastplate.
Scott, go ahead and roll me. Throw me just 2 d20s. We'll do an emphasis roll.
You got it. Two and a 3.
How?
Unfortunately, even the name of Nostrov cannot generate potion craft.
That's okay.
Fuck.
Could we ask with our Arctic gear to buy like white or gray canvas like tents that we could use for maybe like a little camouflage?
Yeah. Hang on. I think that is something in here that has so 2 gold per tent. So there's 60, 12 gold gets you. We'll call them like Arctic equipped, ready. Like that would be a little bit more insulated and would be more camouflaged.
Perfect. And then maybe lastly, is there any gear, or we could just hand wave it, figure it out? Like what do they call that? Crampons? Ty, help me out.
Crampons.
Crampons?
Like picks for your boots and stuff, you mean?
So you can get like full climbers kits, which comes with comes with boot tips, gloves, pittons, and a harness. So the boot tips being kind of the crampon things there. That would be 25 gold a kit. Leah's got one, so you'd still need 5. So 125 gold, and you'd each have a full climber's kit.
Durain does not need it. He can just fucking walk up walls. And we didn't know that until we already had to do it like 5 times. And then Kyle's like, you can just walk on walls, right?
Would
Maybe
Mogin
yes,
need
sure.
that as a bear from Baron? Or does he have any kind of advantage? Home turf advantage?
It'd be more that if you guys did like make a point to say that, and you're crossing icy terrain that would be considered difficult terrain, it would nullify the difficult terrain and you wouldn't be slipping around. Which I may give you advantage on a check, but with the kit on, there's no check at all.
Oh, okay.
I think we should all buy one.
It'd be 25 gold ahead.
Remember when they tried to go through the mountain pass and the Lord of the Rings?
If we're going Arctic, we should have the right gear.
Yeah. Okay, so 5 and it's 5, so 25? Is that what you said? How much?
No, 5 and it's 25. So it'd be 125.
125? Okay. We'll take it out of party funds.
I already have one though. You don't even.
Cal needs one.
Cal needs one. I keep fucking forgetting about Cal.
Yeah, I'm here. Look, it's me.
DMPC.
The Arctic gear that they're getting us, can we request that it's like, I'm going to say full on camouflage, but you get like white, kind of like anoraks to go over, like, hooded anoraks to kind of keep us a little blended in with the surroundings.
Polar bear fur.
Yeah, they'll make a point to find some more furs that are gray and white that are more appropriate for the terrain.
Excellent.
Allie, do you need anything for like arrow wise, or is there anything like how are you doing for stuff like that?
I think I'm okay. I unless there's like fun arrows I could get, but I think I got some and haven't used them yet, or maybe I did use them.
Maybe some +1 arrows or something like that.
I think so.
Again,
I
have a
do. I have
conversation more
+1
with
arrows.
the broker than it is with
anything that's plus anything. I know.
I have
Everything
4.
that's same with me. Like anything, if you 4 +1s?
I have 4 +1 arrows. Yeah.
So
okay, great.
Yeah.
Anything that I would need would be super magic, or I mean, that's like anything. Like we're at the point where like I don't have a attuned item. I don't think Scott does either. Allie, is your weapon attuned?
Yes.
Our rings are attuned.
Yeah, our rings are, and then
Stormcleaver.
Stormcleaver.
True.
My dragon vessel of slumbering is attunement.
My amulet of proof.
Really? Fortunately, it is.
That kind of sucks to be attuned.
The dragon vessel's attuned?
It says requires attunement.
What is it attuned to?
As a bonus action, if the vessel is empty, you can speak one command word to fill the vessel with olive oil, ale, a potion of healing, or a potion of climbing.
Why does that need to be attuned? No, it does. That's weird. Well, sucks to suck. I didn't make that one.
I'll take it until something cooler happens, and then you're gonna abandon it.
Yeah, I didn't make that one, so I can't change that. Anyways, for the time being, it's not a huge problem. Without a meeting with the broker, your attempts to get any kind of magical items is going to be really difficult in the time that you're providing, and that you're not even going to be there to do yourselves. With that in mind, I think unless you're meeting with the broker, then we can kind of move forward into the conversation with Sentinel and the Sapphire Star to try and give you some more information about the Feywild specifically and the Fey Crossing specifically. So, are all 5 of you going? Or is this just going to be Mogden solo?
Was it supposed to be Mogden solo? That's kind of like the vibe I got from the conversation that we weren't involved in, but...
Kind of 6 of 1, honestly.
I think the invitation is there. It is a big decision we're making as a group,
Yeah.
Let's all go.
Great. Everyone make stealth checks.
Oh,
no.
Does Kev have his new thing?
Yeah, Kev, you no disadvantage. You're just straight up.
I just wanted to ask. You said +1 armor. It just says AC 14. It doesn't say anything about +1.
It should be breast one. I think it might say breastplate +1. So if you try to type in +1 first, it might not work when you search.
I looked. It didn't. There was no breastplate +1. Let me see. I'll try one more time. Breast.
No.
Plus. New.
Weird.
Just regular breastplate armor of gleaming.
There's like fancy breastplate that does
cast off, and
There's
spell.
a breastplate +1 right there.
What?
It's blue.
You gotta hit learn. You gotta hit more. Load more.
Oh, I see it. Sorry. Okay,
It's okay.
got it.
All is well. Stealth checks all around.
All is not well. That's what you think about.
Yeah, not good. Not great.
Great.
No,
Could be better.
same here.
19.
Okay.
Oh.
5. 5. 19.
4.
Oh,
4.
11.
11. DeCrane's the tiebreaker.
Not the worst
sorry.
here, but
It's not rolling. 1 minute.
Cursed with technology.
A 1.
today.
oh,
Excellent.
Okay, I will fix the fucking 1. I have a 3, which is better than a 1.
No, it's
But I don't know if it's gonna
kind of
match
6
it.
to 1. You're pretty failure.
God.
It's not good.
Okay.
ruh-roh.
Remember how we're like, hey, we're not going to get into a fight tonight?
Let's just
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo, here we go.
let me check my spells.
I'm
On the way to
trying
the meeting.
Why didn't we cast Pass Without a Trace? What are we doing? What are we
We've
doing?
done so many things. So many things. Okay, so
Have it prepared. I'm looking at it.
the city at night. Who's out in the city at night watching for you? No, you know what? Okay, this is fine. You guys make your way through the city, leaving from the Queen's Gambit, keeping to the shadows as best you can, and making your way from fuck, I don't remember if it's in the Market Ward or the River Ward. I think it's the River Ward, but yeah, it's the River Ward. So it's a decent trek down to get down to the primordial, the Primal Ward, and to the Sapphire Star. But you do so in relative quiet and calm. The chill in the night air and the faint kind of snowfall falling is keeping people inside, and you're noticing that there's a pretty quiet traffic on the roads as you guys make your way through the city streets, closing up and shuttering of doors and windows. There's a definite air of kind of a city under lockdown kind of feeling. Like there's a general air of almost a curfew kind of feeling. But regardless, you guys make it to the Sapphire Star. Totally fine.
Someone's following us. We don't know that.
You make it inside. At the back of the store, as you kind of cross in stealthily as you can be, you see Sentinel and a familiar kind of barrel-chested, tall, brawny man in a kind of a fur-lined cloak and breastplate. As you see, Bishop is also joining this evening's conversation. As you guys kind of enter in quiet and kind of trudge your way through, stamping off the kind of mud and accumulated snow as you make your way through, you can see at the back kind of table, the same table where you had touched the sapphire to go up above, there seems to be a bunch of like papers and books and things that are kind of laid out as the two of them seem to have been discussing and planning and plotting a course of things. But as you all make your way inside, the faint light of the dim light interior, they kind of close down the shutters of the front, and you guys begin to enter into the shop in full. And Bishop comes up to you, Mogden, with a hand outstretched, ready to kind of clasp your arm and hand in a congratulations, as he kind of half grabs your arm to shake and half kind of clasps your shoulder. Congratulations, my friend. I knew you would follow in my footsteps on the path of the Argent Ward.
Thank you, brother. They do the friggin' Spartacus,
yeah,
and it's super
commando,
satisfying.
just boom.
Dylan, Bishop,
Yeah.
son of a bitch,
Yeah.
Awesome. Love it.
I always knew you had it in you to follow down this path, and the ward will grow stronger through your devotion. So I'm glad to have you on board.
It is a great honor for me, Bishop. Thank you. Your words, they touch my heart. Thank you very much.
Feels good. Ah, you brought these guys. Great. Come on.
Hi.
Come on.
I love this guy. He's my favorite.
I try and give him the handshake as he walks away. Just try and.
Just like the tip of his like cloak just kind of catches and continues back. You guys make your way back and kind of gather around this table, and Sentinel and Bishop begin to kind of showcase what they have for you here. And Bishop explains. So, Sentinel tells me that your adventures are taking you possibly beyond this plane and seemingly into the realm of the Fae, into the unknown, as it were. Now, we're not necessarily planeswalkers, you and I, on the Argent Ward, but our skills and our paths do kind of cross some of the same haunts, the same supernatural elements, and of course, keeping an eye on the outer worldly threats, especially those of the inner planes, Shadow and Fae. So, one of the things I want to make sure that you're aware of, obviously, Mogden, this is going to be something that's going to pertain to you. Not sure the rest of y'all. I don't know that any of you can really wield blades, but it would be wise to consider silvering your weaponry.
Good advice. Okay, good advice.
This is good to know, Bishop.
We have a metallurgist in the primeval ward that we've worked with in the past. His name is Asim. He's a Genasi. He's an ally. He's a trusted ally. If you go to him, it takes only a few hours for a couple of blades, and he can get them done for not a significant cost. You mentioned that you're with us, and I'm sure he'll knock a little bit of the cost off, at least to get one of your blades done for sure. You'd want something ready to fight some of those creatures who will be otherwise difficult to put down.
Well noted, brother. Thank you.
Of course. Sentinel kind of turns over to the side. She opens up a little small chest, and she comes over to hand you a metallic gauntlet. Kind of a large single arm gauntlet that goes up with a bracer kind of up to a band brace up to kind of the mid forearm. And she kind of places it in front of you. This is a codex gauntlet of our Planeswalkers faction, of the group of Planeswalkers. It's capable of many things, and it is a common tool of our Planeswalkers. But given the situation and given the expediency and urgency of your journey, I think it best to outfit you with their device here as well. It'll be capable of keeping track of time in relation to the material plane, regardless of your planar dimension. So being able to keep eyes on here while being in the unknown of time will at least help you track your relation to how things are traveling here. In addition, this gives you access to the Planar Codex, an amassed information network of the Planeswalkers that you can utilize to aid you along your journey.
And thank you for this. This is no small journey that we are about to partake in, but it is good to know that there are some things that will make this... I'm resident to say easier, but... it will improve our chances, I think. So thank you.
Yeah. There's a lot of jokes and ribbing aside, but the planar boundaries they're built for a reason. They're held on different sides because their way of life and their understanding of life is entirely alien to us. Anything that is beyond this world, they do not think and feel and emote the same. The world is more emotive there. You have to be cautious on every move, not just with the enemy and friend in front of you, but the very grass will be reactive and responsive to what happens in and around that place. Sentinel tells me that a war has been undergoing the Fae. that will turn the Fae itself into a beast. So be warned. You go somewhere that is innately dangerous now.
I think for us, Ramzad is where our path will lead, but how we get there is still to be decided, I believe, where we left our conversation, and this will be dependent upon where within the Fae you can get us relative to our end goal. And with this knowledge, we will make, I suppose, our biggest decision, whether we travel through the Fae or whether we travel through the top side. But we do need to know where we will end up on the other side first.
Yeah, so this is what Sentinel and I have spent the last little while looking over and poring over our notes. The Planeswalkers have not come to base in some time. As a side note, that was not worrying and is now a point of bother with us. We cannot reach any of our planar warriors currently. So that you're aware that what has been obscuring the vision of Eros and the divine itself may also be either impairing our travelers or has taken them out. We hope, obviously, the former, but right now there's a lot up in the air. So your mission to gather this girl, this power, it's important. I'm happy we're able to give you these tools to move forward. And to that point, Fae crossings are as tricky as the Fae come. Not one is alike in how you cross, and not one has the same method or the same destination. Each are as random as possible, with only through trial and error and through the work of our planeswalkers have we recorded even a handful of these. Most come off as folklore and fairy tale, that it's in a story, and how all the pieces came together perfectly to cross into the Fae, impossible to replicate. So the work that they have managed to do to pull together a couple of these is, I find, truly impressive. Now, time being of the essence. We know that some of these just get marked off, and he starts to go over the map, and he points over to the east kingdom of Myrnath, and he says, Myrnath is littered with Fae crossings all over the map. But that's months' journey to reach, so kind of out of options for you, though. If you had way to get to the mountains of Karden, the very mist around the mountain can lead you through to the Fae at any moment, but it is entirely random where you will end up. So for future reference, at least now you know. But some of the more expedient options that you have directly here, and he starts to kind of point south of Karden, basically in between, there's a small spot between the Drackrock Swamp and the Blood Run Bay, where the two kind of meet in the middle at the kind of one of these kind of outcroppings of the Ash Peaks that is just south of Karden. He says, here at this kind of intersection of the Blood Run Bay and the Drackrock Swamp, there is within the swamp this lock. It's called Lily Pad Lock. Here, you'll find a fairy ring, and it'll take you across if you are able to. What our planeswalkers have said is barter with the frogs. Now, I'm not sure what that means, but I'm going to assume that they knew what they were talking about.
Okay, that's really helpful. My sister also picked up this pearl that can detect portals, so that could help us too.
That's huge. Yeah. That's hugely useful. Yeah.
I like frogs.
These frogs, you mean like a bullywog, perhaps? Or actual frog? Frog people? Frog.
I think just frogs, but
Yeah.
it certainly bullywug would certainly be fitting. But I don't know much more than barter with the frogs. That's what they have here. That's what we have to go off of. It's a crossing within the lake, and the frogs can lead you through. That's all they have written, essentially.
Okay.
Interesting.
Is there anything we can bring with us that would help us when we're in trouble?
Good idea.
Whatever you can bring, you can take with you through a crossing. That's there's nothing that's going to be restricted or held back. But whatever you can bring and fight any kind of evil is going to help you.
I mean, if we get your blade silvered, you said that might help, right?
Oh yeah, if you wield a blade, a silvered blade will help you.
No, I'm thinking more like either something that shows a sign that we're to be trusted, or something that we can barter with if need be, that they will like.
It's a wise question to wonder of diplomacy. What I will give you is the only kind of information that I have to kind of run off of in the Fae is that most Fae are going to operate under the rules 3. They don't have many rules in a chaotic life under the Fae, but most will abide by these 3 rules: the rules of reciprocity, hospitality, and gifts. Reciprocity is if something is taken, then something of equal value must be given. They innately care about balance in this, but they like to bend what balance really means. So take that with a grain of salt, but be on the watch for it. Hospitality is a significant pillar of the Fae society. Treating visitors to one's home with courtesy, with generosity, it's incredibly important. And you have to show utmost courtesy in response. Rudeness breaks the bond, and that will lead to hostility.
I give a long look at Decrane.
Stare at Decrane.
To be fair, I think he's just. I think he's just not good at social cues. I think it's less of a
specifically
trying to be mean. I think he's just not good at social.
He shoots people a lot. No, he literally.
That's not gonna go well. I'm just gonna put that out there.
I understand an alliance, but I don't take crap.
This is going to go bad for you. I'm just going to put this out there because they're going to give crap. They're tricksters. It's kind of innately what they're going to do. But maybe they will. No, it's going to go bad.
Yeah.
Be prepared for that.
What about the gifts? We can prepare with gifts?
So gifts are very big in Fae society. They love to receive gifts. And their gifts can be very thoughtful, or they can be spur of the moment. But a gift doesn't necessarily mean value of coin. It's sentimental value. It's emotional importance. So something on that level is more valuable than, this cost me money, if that makes sense.
The cost of time, connection.
Exactly. There's an environmental empathy that the Feywild itself and the Fey innately respond to. Your affection towards something imprints on it, and that's something that they can read and understand.
Bishop, I must ask you, brother.
Of course.
Knowing what we must do, and knowing what you know of what we have to do next, what do you think our best chances are to get to Ramzad? Is it to take our chances in the unknown of the Feywild, or is it to take this potential direct route to Witherbloom and take our chances in the forest there? I know that there are risks with both, but you are a storied warrior in your own right, and for the sake of this group, I would love to hear what you think will give us the best chance to get to our objective and to do it safely and quickly.
Well, safely and quickly aren't always an alliance, so to speak.
That is fair point, brother.
going into the Fae is not the safe option, but if you bargain right, can be the quickest option. And by bargain, I mean you are going to need to bargain with these Fae for guidance, so you're not lost, and possibly, very likely, safe passage and fast passage to kind of counteract this time dilation that the Feywild goes into. It's not a direct translation of this runs twice as fast or 25% faster. It's fast on one day, then it's slower, then it's the same, then the next day you jump 3 weeks. It's chaos incarnate. It's just what they do. So that inherently carries significant risk. There's too much unknown to really give you a solid answer. But if time is a known factor, if too much time to make this trek can happen, making your road up north terrestrially, and whatever it is happening in Ramzad, and this girl and this power is used by these villains, then time is your real enemy here. And if you're confident in your collective abilities to bargain your way through with some significant powers in the Fae, they're willing to bargain. That's what I'll say. The Fae will bargain. They will always bargain, but the price you may not want to pay. So be ready to find yourselves on the other end of a bargain that is going to be tricky to negotiate. And again, it's not going to cost you coin.
What do you know
of your life? Of what, sorry?
Sorry, I did not mean to interrupt you, but what do we know of the nature of this war currently? You speak of war. Is this something to be concerned about in regards to our passing through, or?
Well, I'd say any war is going to make your passage more difficult. In truth, I don't know enough about the war to give you any kind of real intel. Like I say, our connection to our planeswalkers, this is the first I'm hearing of the war. Only what Sentinel has told me in the few hours since she found out alongside you. And Star Speaker gave us the letters to kind of indicate what was going on with this Pale King, this Silgoth. Seems to be an archfey of his own.
We heard a bit about it. We heard them say the Summer Queen's dead. We heard them kind of talk about like a corruption there. Actually, one of the elves who we saved had a bit of that corruption, a fatedness to them. Like maybe, I'm not sure. They talked about the Pale Court, I think they said. Yeah.
I may shed some light on this. What a little I know, what my omen sight has told me in years past. This is not a recent occurrence. This destruction of the Fae courts as the unseelie and seelie as they once were has been decades in this fallout that has apparently turned to war. The courts as they were, the seasonal courts, the summer court, the Queen of Air and Darkness for winter, the Queen of Blooms for spring, and the Queen of Falling Leaves in the autumnal court. They no longer hold sway. The Fae has fallen to splintered sects and courts, new powers, and these powers vie for control of the Fae. And it would seem that this Pale Court and this Archlord are making the biggest and strongest moves. Their tactics they're human. They're human tactics, and that is uncommon in Fae war. And it's very likely why it is that they're so cruel and therefore dominating. So what you face when you cross there will be war, and the world itself will be responding in kind. It will not likely encompass the entirety of the realm, but where you would cross through, the realms as we knew them are no longer. So it's a little bit of unknown territory as you cross. What we do know are the new crossings. Loch Lilypad is an old crossing, but it is a known old crossing. There are two others, three others that we have recently recorded, and by recently within the last several years, not within months. Likely in response to these shifting and fallen fae. One of our planeswalkers discovered a path through the Twilight Grave, and it can be any grave, but under the twilight before a sunrise, with the right offering to a certain fallen fae, and under the twilight sunrise, as the sun does rise, you will be transported through.
Is that through into the Fae or out of the Fae?
Into.
Into? God, I love this shit. I'm eating this shit up.
Fae crossings always follow boundaries. Boundaries of light and dark, life and death, the boundaries between realms, the boundaries between environments, doorways, thresholds, these kinds of things, they become literal. They become, they take the figurative and they make it a door. So this could be your best, fastest option, but where you come through will require a little bit of research and could be random in where it is that you come through. We don't entirely know where the Fae boundaries were once, where the Court of the Summer Queen is now presumably ruined, or at least now in control of the Pale. Where the other queens have fallen, their courts have scattered to the winds. So in truth, you will truly be in need of a guide on the Fae side. The other two that we do know are through the boughs of the Heartwood. At the tallest, oldest tree in the Heartwood, when the sun rises, the very boughs will cross through into the Fae itself, and you can climb directly into the Fae, but only on the sunrise. So you have a very short window. And there is a new power that was one of our last recordings from our Planeswalker, a trickster fae known as Wick. There have been a fair few tales of those who have frequently slipped between realms and camping in woods across Vigil and having their fires burning but near fairy circles will suddenly become imbued with a strange effervescence and euphoric sensation that many have made akin to some kind of hallucinatory trip in which a short man with a toothsome grin has appeared, and some of them have awoken while others have been taken without trace.
So another one where you're not sure where you land.
That would seem to be one where you are directly escorted by this figure.
They sound fun.
Sound like someone Decrane might shoot. That's
Definitely.
Well, my friend, it seems like there is much to consider here, and given that this individual that we are about to pursue is of much importance to you, I would put it to you to determine what is most suitable for your aims. I will assist you in this quest regardless, and I do have my means of showing us around close to my homeland, but how we get there, whether the risks are worth the reward on either side, I would have you consider what is most pertinent to achieving this goal of saving your friend. And I will join you in whatever you decide.
I mean, we talked about ways in. We haven't. What about exits? How do we get out?
I think maybe the Archfey helps with that.
Is there not a tower? Like you were saying the tower, we find the tower. Is that the exit point? Or
You could exit
If there is one there.
if there is one?
I mean, well, it's a liminal space. It crosses, so it is a crossing. The point was that you could get in, you could expedite your journey to the Citadel because it crosses in both realms. So you could go through the Fae and kind of sneak attack in from the Fae side, so they wouldn't see you coming necessarily on the material side. But it would still act as a crossing back to the material side, and you would be back at the Starless Citadel in Ramzad, and you would just be back in the material realm, making your way home from there. Now, you could also bargain for a difference from an Archfey passage home if you bargain for a more powerful Archfey who can do such things. You got a lot of options, honestly.
This is all dependent on who we encounter on the other side. So there's a lot of unknowns here. But
and this is kind of why you need to, once you get across, you would need to be looking for a guide of some kind, at least to get your bearings and get an idea of what's going on, and really crossing into the Fae it's a whole journey. It's a whole adventure in of itself.
There's also, I mean, like, admittedly, because everything's in war, whether what we provide is some kind of information that maybe other sides don't have, like, there could be potential for more people willing to make deals. But it just depends on if we find the right person. Kyle, could you, just from my understanding of areas, the Draken Swamp versus the Heartwood, what are we talking about in terms of travel distance from here?
So Drackrock Swamp and Bloodrun Bay's kind of like borderline is it's the closer. It's probably a 3-day journey. It does put you a little uncomfortably close back to where you just fled from in Sanctuary, but not in a direct path necessarily. The Heartwood is more familiar to our two Fey bunnies as the woods that is close. It's a massive woodland that kind of surrounds the Alatana River and would have been close to where they had awoken here not too long ago.
Well, what's closer, Heartwood or south of Karden, Drackrock Swamp, and Bloodrun Bay? That crossing the Loch Lily Pad is closer by a couple of days. Heartwood is probably, I mean, if you really hustled, it's like a 5 to 7 days. I think we should do south of Karden, Drackrock Swamp.
Well, the other options are ones that aren't tied to a location, right? Like, they could work anywhere.
Like the grave, you said? Or does that...
The grave one.
The Twilight Grave is any grave. It just requires figuring out the right combination of things and the right time. The problem is if you fuck up the combination, you gotta wait a whole day. You gotta wait for twilight at the next sunrise. So you got a once a day chance, and if one of you is somehow doesn't do all the same as what everyone else does, someone gets left behind.
It's also creepy because it's
goes somewhere else.
Grave.
But it's a crossing between life and death.
And then there's the one with like being in the woods, trying to get that Wick character that kind of has a built-in guide.
He sounds sick. He sounds
sexually.
Also,
that one requires some finding, just finding a fairy circle, and kind of working in and around that. Doable. certainly doable, but could also take a couple of days to narrow that down.
I think we could head out for the Drac Rock one, but maybe try and do the summoning of Wick if we camp out in a forest and use Nettie's portal finder and see if we're close.
So are we set then that the Fae is the way to go? It's just a matter of which way in?
I'm feeling pretty good about Fae. Maybe not good, but Scott's feeling pretty excited about Fae. Fae's gonna be sick. I love Fae shit.
Just to throw one last wrench in, because I can't resist. The talk of Witherbloom and Fae has certainly cropped up a couple of crimson strings in the recesses of the minds of the two bunny rabbits here. In theory, if you were to make your way to the Witherbloom, that was kind of the closest assumptions that you guys had to connections to the Red Lady.
And also your past, just generally, right? Like, that's where you came from.
But wouldn't it just take a while to get there? I guess not Witherbloom. What's the forest Nettie and I came from? No, we came from the Heartwood, right?
You guys came from the Heartwood. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Witherbloom is...
Potential access through the Druid, or possibly through the Broker, possibly through the Mage. Like, there was a lot of possibilities. There was likely through the Midnighters that could get you there. But that is a big question mark of whether you want to be there and dealing with this person or not.
Also, was scared for you to say.
Wanted to bring it back up to make sure that you guys were recalling that thread.
You know, also, what if the Midnighters are like, we want you to open this door somewhere, and then we find out they like assassinate someone, and we're like, fuck. There's like a moral quandary there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also a little concerned with like getting too deep into the side questy things that we might like fuck our main quest.
Never.
You know what I mean?
But it could help.
What was I gonna say? There's something about those frogs. Going to see a bunch of frogs feels very right. We were in a bar once where a guy told a story about hanging out with a bunch of frogs, and it had a really adorable ending.
It was really funny, and we need to cut it into a little.
It might well have been the same luck.
This is what I'm thinking.
I know.
See
I
about
thought
a
as soon as you
frog.
started saying it, that's what I was thinking of. Was the little.
Remember he disappeared into a frog's mouth?
Yeah, a giant frog came out and he croaked.
Waka.
It was fucking amazing. Kyle had us so captivated only for this dad punchline at the end.
It was great.
I mean, I'm down to go visit some frogs.
Let's get our frog on.
I mean, you're not wrong, Scott. If on the way we like find a fairy circle, we can fucking try that one if we want to.
I only worry about the trickery and the wars that we will encounter there.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned as well.
The war thing, yeah.
That old war thing.
War
We
thing.
don't want to get involved in other people's fighting or other things.
My concern is we kind of already are. I mean, we've been finding all these letters. We've been seeing all this other stuff. These two seem to be tied to it in some manner. The people fighting this war who seem to know who they were. At least a little bit.
You can keep fighting, but eventually you have to come to an end.
Degreen, you said
saying we're gonna
don't even
die?
worry about fights. Let fights come to you and surprise you.
I'm
I
very
did not
confused
say
by
that
you.
in those words.
I think we should do the froggies.
As much as it is all a little terrifying, I can't say I've known another shepherd who's got to go through another plane. It's pretty cool.
Maybe that could be our name, like something frog and pond related. The ripples. The croakers.
The croaks.
The croaks.
Kind of sounds like we're all gonna die.
The toads. The toadstools.
The 5 fingers.
Hey,
Gross. Weird.
that feels gross. So, with the information presented, there's nothing more really to come from the side of the Watchers, unless you have more questions.
Do they have a book about history or customs of the Feywild?
They do not.
Damn it.
They'd have to go.
A tourism guide.
Yes. Or like an old history. I don't care what it is. I know nothing, and I...
Did Star Speaker not give you something on the Fae previously when you were at the Star?
He gave me 2 books, and I'm sure I have it written down in hastily scratched things that I'll see if I can find it. I didn't think one was the Fae. I thought it was something else.
I mean, they gave us a great little download right there.
Nevertheless, we can sort out what book it was that you received from Star Speaker previously. At this stage, you guys are, ready to kind of make your way back and rest. And there's only a handful of things to kind of wrap up. Pardon me. Before you would set off in full. Ludomir and Sentinel are planning to make their way out of to Sarah Eden, like by tomorrow afternoon. So they're kind of wrapping everything up they have to kind of get ready and depart, because it's like almost a 3-week journey to Sarah Eden. So they're going to get on the road pretty soon. So both of them will be kind of out of your range rather quickly.
Could we, before, have the other people we saved left yet? I know they were still getting their bearings, because there was a couple Fae people. It might not hurt to chat with them for a little bit, just to see if we can get anything from them.
Mm-hmm. They're still back at Ludomir's.
Okay.
You can absolutely still speak with them. And then as a last note, if you wanted to try and silver any of your kind of weaponry, that'll take a couple of hours the following day. But you can definitely do that for a cost if you're looking to do that.
Can we silver Allie's cool fucking battle loot? Can that get silvered, or is that too much? Or would it not matter because it's magical damage?
It's magical, so it's not going to do a whole lot more.
I think it would look cool. Imagine it looks like chromed out on top of everything else.
We should silver some. That'd be sick. Yeah, sorry, Al. We should silver some of your bullets, the Crane. Silver a bunch of your bullets.
Can you do that? Well, the problem is, are we going to a place where they're gonna fucking rat on us for
they're
having
watcher.
bullets?
They're watcher.
Okay, they're watcher
pals.
people. Okay.
Silver arrows, bullets. Yeah.
You can. So hold on, I'm trying to find where's my cost. If you're looking to actually, Mogden, throw me a persuasion check.
Come on, Mogden.
Hey, let's go. Okay, here we go. Oh god. 6 minus 1, 5.
Oh.
Unfortunately, despite the call from the Watchers, the cost of silver is high, the cost of the extra materials is high, and the bonding process that this takes, you will have to pay, unfortunately, full price, which will come to 100 gold per weapon for silver.
Okay.
Sorry,
now,
gang.
for ammunition, you can get a handful of pieces of bullets or arrows or bolts, whatever. You can get several in one of these costs versus you can probably do 20 bullets and 20 arrows for that cost for one blade.
How much was it, did you say?
100 gold per blade.
Okay, I think we should do Moggy's sword.
Yeah, I was thinking the sword.
I think DC's bullets. Al, I think your arrows.
Okay.
That's 300. And then Andy and I have magic.
I can make my stick magic. It's fine. And so can you. But I think, at the very least, we got to get the 2 melee fighters.
Yeah.
/ I guess Kev's also range. But 100, you guys have gold, right? 100 gold is fine for you.
We can do party funds too. Kev, would you want to do your scimitar? So let's do 400. I mean, this is what Ludo gave us money for, so let's do it.
Okay, so I can. There are silvered weapons in the inventory system, but I'll make specific ones for each of your characters, and I'll add them to your characters before the next game. Yeah, so the two of you with range stuff, it'll be 20 pieces and arrows, and then Mogden, you're going to do your greatsword.
I think that makes the most sense. I was thinking the greatsword too. I mean, I've got the axes that I use for little things, but I feel like if I had a dedicated blade, it would probably be the sword for silver.
Yeah.
Okay. With that done, we can certainly have some of the conversations with the Fey refugees before setting off. But does it seem like the path is to go towards Loch Lilypad and make the journey?
Frogs.
That's what the party wants. Let's do it.
What the party
All right.
gets.
Then these few conversations can happen, but if it's not going to deter or change it's just going to give some more information. It's not going to change your directions. We can come back to those and revisit them within the game or have them offline necessarily. And as you guys rest, finish this last couple of preparations and begin your journey. A couple of days journey. It feels odd to go in the wrong direction. You're headed south to try and get north. But hasten forward, bidding goodbye to both Sentinel and to Ludomir, both with stern wishes of good luck. You guys head towards this odd transitioning point and into the Fae next time.
Yeah! Woohoo! I love the Fae. God,
It's like here are your options.
So
it's like you can
awesome.
skip 2/3 of your way to this spot and then walk through the forest, or we can go into a war zone with a bunch of things that we'll have to make deals with and find a guide and traits. Let's do that. Let's do that one.
that sounds
It is
interesting.
It's definitely like hey, do you want this like practical option or do you want this option that like could be really fun in game?
Yeah.
Fae is so fun.
Give me the fun one.
It's the bargains. Ty, you haven't been in a game where Kyle makes you do a bargain.
Oh,
We've been on the bad end of some bargains.
Oh, I expect we will be still with the way I've been rolling. So get ready for
It's more like
time.
more like you're forced into it. Like not forced.
And it's more
but
about like what you can think of to give up. Like it's a lot of like, what the fuck do you give up? And
Yeah.
like you have to think creatively, and some of it's up for rules, but a lot of
I
it's
like the potential for like creative story development and character exploration. I feel like it's probably the less like strategically practical thing to do, but from a game building exercise, it's probably way more fun.